This week I want to look at a bunch of different ways that your termination clause can get knocked out, because once that clause is knocked out, you'd be entitled to common law reasonable notice, which could be anywhere up to 2 years or more of notice of termination or pay in lieu. So today's subject is the substratum doctrine, where the courts are going to look at what the foundation or the basis of your employment contract was. So they'll look at a bunch of factors, including how many years you were in your role, the change in compensation that you've received over the years, the type of promotions you got, your responsibilities, duties, location changes, and even title changes. And if looking at all that together, it looks like your job has turned into something totally different from when you first signed your contract, then that termination clause is going to get knocked out and you'll get common law notice. So I want to give you a couple of examples from the case law. One case is a Court of Appeal decision out of BC where a store manager out of Ontario was told to move to BC, still had the manager role, but a little bit more responsibility in that they had to actually open a new store there, and they also got a $20,000 pay bump. Well, the court said that that alone wasn't enough to change the substratum, so the termination clause still applied. Okay, now let's compare that to another case where somebody moved from the role of senior engineer all the way up to a VP position, and with that they got way more salary, they got stock options, and they even had access to the company credit card and company apartments overseas. That was enough to knock out the termination clause. Okay, now one last thing to keep in mind is that even if you have a basis on which to argue you have a change in substratum, if there is a sentence in your termination clause or the contract that says that this termination clause will continue to apply even if you have a bunch of promotions or changes in job duties, that's usually enough to knock out any argument for substratum. So take a look at your employment contract and see if you can find that sentence.